Welcome to my retro museum of stereo systems and records. We'll be going through each one of these in the future. I'll be turning them on, I'll be showing you how to rebuild them, and I'll show you some of the features of the different BSRs. I wanted to show you this unit. It's a McDonald, okay? Not to be confused with a McDonald. It's a component system made back in the 70s. Oddly enough, it features a McDonald turntable, a typical BSR of the day, an El Cheapo unit with a ceramic cartridge and your typical El Cheapo needle. Speed, stop, whatever it is. Um, it works. I rebuilt it. I'll show you how to do that later in another video. It's got your cue control. It does have tracking on it right here. It looks like the gauge is, the meter has probably been taken off, but that's not going to make a whole lot of difference because the weight on this thing, the tracking is probably well over 3 grams, and so that's not a great unit there. So let's look at a better unit, another 70s unit right there. Look at that beauty. That's a Sony component system that's got a dual 1200 series turntable in it. Not the best. That has uh, a spring controlled anti-skating. So it's not the best unit, but this unit up here's got a great one. Let me look at this dual turntable. Below it is my Pioneer. It's an 828, gorgeous, gorgeous amplifier. Plenty of power, and it's well rated, highly rated for the day. So is this dual. This is a 1229 dual. Okay, gorgeous turntable. It's got your pitch control. All right, and there's where it lights up. I'll show you how that works later. I have to rebuild this one. I cleaned it up, but it needs a new hoochie whatever it's called. It needs some work. Okay, we'll go through that later. Just wanted to show you it's got pitch control and your matching tracking back here. All right, counterbalance is nice weighted, and it's got a Pickering cartridge on it. Not the greatest, but we can remove that and get something better. So I'll be fixing that up a little bit later, and I'll also show you how I'm going to rebuild that 828. I've got some trouble with the tuner dial. It's a little loose. I'll show you how to tighten that up, show you how we fix that. But I wanted to show you this beauty here. And again, I'll go through this one and we'll turn it on and we'll go through all the knobs and how I rebuild this one as well. This is actually made by Sears, and it has more bells and whistles on it than you could ever imagine. 8-track recorder, and it's hilarious. Some CEO must have looked at this and said, "Hey, we need more dials. We need more buttons." Actually, when you turn it on, it is so cool. This thing's a real gem. I love it. It's a gorgeous unit, and it's got a moderate turntable. Again, BSR, typical unit you'd find. I did rebuild this, and it's running just fine. Speed, start, stop, auto, all works great. Um, Now it has a pitch control of sorts. Wait a minute, let me take another look there. Well, okay, it's got skating of sorts. You can set the skating to match your tracking. So that's not so bad. Moderate, generic cartridge on that bad boy. I can replace that. I looked into it. I could replace it, but I don't know if it's worth it. I don't use it that often, but we'll go through that again, and I'll show you how to rebuild that one as well. My records, some of my records. I've got an Electro Brand. Believe it or not, this is made back in the 70s, but Electro Brand is still in business. They are still making stereos. This one's got an 8-track. It also has a cassette. Hey, what do you know? The cassette doesn't work too well, and the 8-track seems to warble a little bit. But it's an okay unit for, again, back in the days, 70s. It has an even cheaper BSR. This has a plastic disc, okay, platter, whatever the heck you want to call it, and speed control, no big deal. Off, on, play. Um, there's no controls back there. You know, they're trying to make it look like it's got a counterweight and stuff. It doesn't. None of that stuff is adjustable. It does have a cartridge that sort of looks like a magnetic cartridge. From what I could see when I looked it up, it appears to be ceramic, but it's a little bit better than the cheapo El Cheapo needle I showed you on the other unit. So let's go on over here. Oh, just to take a look at my cleaning, I've got a lot of different cleaning apparatuses. This one's made by it's a wooden case. Okay, it's really cool. What's the manufacturer on this? I don't know. We'll go over it later. Anyway, it's not a ultrasonic cleaner. You put the disc in here, put a couple drops of fluid in, and it cleans it. I'll demonstrate that later. We have a standard velvet brush cleaner, pretty typical. A pre-treated cloth. It's got some sort of oil or fluid on it. It takes the static off. That's really all it's good for. You can't do any deep cleaning with that. This unit will do your deep cleaning, but actually using a cleaner linen cloth with the right fluid, which I do, is what you really need to do if you got very, very dirty records. This is what I clean my Stylus with. Um, it's a soft brush, and I clean my Stylus whenever it gets gunked up, if it does. And it happens every once in a while, because every once in a while I get a record that's really in bad shape. What do we got here? Just records, more records. Oh, let's go back to another unit. This is a cheaper unit. It's not like that Sony I showed you before, but it's a nice unit. I'll open it up someday and we'll show you what it looks like inside. You'll be amazed when you see the insides because the transistors are so small. There's like nothing inside of this thing. Turntable's not bad. All right, and going to next level up. It doesn't have a magnetic cartridge. It's got the ceramic with the El Cheapo flipper needle here, but it does have your anti-skating, and it's got your tracking there. Not bad, not great. I use this whenever I have a record that skips on all my other units. I will use this one because I believe it or not, I set this thing at 6 grams. I max it out. If I got a real bad record, I'll slip it on here and it will not skip. So I'll show you how to rebuild that one as well. Okay, moving on over. What do we got here? We got a Panasonic 8-track. Nice little component unit. Actually has 30, 30 watts, so I guess about 15 watts per channel. It's not all bad for an old component unit. This Ion is not great, but it came with some great software, so I'll go through that with you. It came with some very nice digitizing software that's got the USB port, goes right into my computer. I can digitize my music whenever I want to. I've got a lot of records, and whenever I play one, I like to digitize it so I have it to play in my car or whatever. You know, is a digital sound as good as the record? No, it is not. I'm not going to go into, you know, you don't want to debate that. Okay, it's just never going to sound like an analog record. But it's got a typical sort of a generic cartridge on it. There's very little information on this cartridge on the internet and even through the company, but they give you an Audio Technica low end cartridge on there. Well, what do you want, right? The whole unit is like $70, I think I spent for it. There's no controls on it, right? I don't know what that thing tracks at. They say the internet scuttlebug is that it tracks at about 3 grams. Who knows? Gorgeous though. It's really gorgeous. You know, take a look at it with the cover on. Um, you know, it's a gorgeous turntable. It's just not great high quality, but like I say, the software is dynamite. Moving on over to another El Cheapo unit, but nice for if you're buying thrift store records and stuff like I do. I buy them through online sites as well, and you don't always get the greatest quality. So sometimes I want to use a Pyle. I'm not going to use a $3,000 cartridge to play back $1 or $2 record. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the Pyle's real nice. Again, I'll go through this. We're not going to rebuild this because it's working just great, but I will show you how to set the cartridge in there and align the cartridge. Anyway, this Pyle unit, I got it for a real nice price. It's gone up. It's doubled, more than doubled now. It's like 250 bucks now is what the price is, and it does come with your pitch control. Power is back there. There's your pitch. There's your pitch dial. Whatchamacallit controller knobby there, right? So up or down, it controls the pitch. We'll go through that later. I'll show you how it works. It's got a very nice anti-skating back there. From what I can see, from what I've read about it, they say it's a good anti-skating online. I haven't seen any negative reviews, let's put it that way. I track at 2 grams. It's what they recommend. It will track less. It'll track all the way down to a lot less than that, but they don't recommend it. And I have, right now, I have an inexpensive cartridge on there. It's an Audio Technica, but that's that gorgeous new 95 series that they came out with. I can swap that stylus out and upgrade it with six other models of stylus to upgrade this. Same cartridge, but you upgrade the stylus. It's a dynamite way of going. It's a great way to save some money. Anyway, that's a nice little unit for the price, and it's attractive. Uh, let's see. Okay, cons on this one, I would have to say, is the plastic disc. Okay, it's just not heavy. The platter. What the hell's the name of that? There's a name for that, and there's a name for this thing too that I'm not using. Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? I don't know, man. I'm a layman. What can I say? You know, everyday Joe, trying to tell you what I know and share with you a little bit of information. So we'll go through the Pyle, and oh, I was going to show you one more thing before we leave today. When you put a new cartridge on the Pyle, this is something we'll go through. You're going to use a protractor. That's what you should do. Don't just plop it on there. You can, you know, but this is just a paper protractor, and I'll tell you, it works really well. I got it off the Fluence website. There's other websites that have it. I think Vinyl Engine, something like that, has a good protractor. I'll show you how to use a protractor and how to align a cartridge as well. Okay, so that's about it for our little run through. That's our current museum of turntables. I've got a couple others that are boxed up that we will not go through right now, but when I'm getting ready to rebuild these BSRs, I'll show you how we do that. I'll show you how we digitize records on the Ion using Ion software. I'll show you what I do with my Pyle, which is basically, Pyle has a USB connection, and they give you Audacity. You know, you can use Audacity. It's good software, but it's not made for digitizing records. So it actually allows me, this Pyle allows me to use the Ion software to digitize records, which is very important because the Ion software breaks each track up very nicely. I don't have to manually go in there and screw around when I use the Ion software. So I'm grateful to have that software. To me, it's worth buying the turntable just for the top software, to tell you the truth. But actually now I'll have to give you a link. I think you can get that software free. I think you can download it free. Anyway, I use the Pyle. I pop it right into my computer. I use the Ion software. The Pyle has a preamp on it, and I do have to crank the gain up on that preamp. I crank it up a little bit on the actual unit in the back there, and in the Ion software, I have to turn it up too. So that's it's probably not the greatest thing in the world. You might get a little bit of noise when you crank up gain, right? I think we all know that. All right, that's about it for now. Thanks for watching.